Well, we have some cold air returning, we have some moisture. You put the two together, you get images like this. Where can we expect that snow to fall and when? I'll let you know coming up next. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Weather Nerds YouTube channel. I'm your host, meteorologist Greg Majeski, making a difference one subscriber at a time. And you know, I'm trying to grow the most effective weather channel platform out there on YouTube. And I can only do that with your help. So if you could do me a favor, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit that notification bell so you're alerted on future content, and leave me a comment or a thumbs up down below. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm, and I really want to start getting this channel growing in the right direction. All right, let's go ahead and talk about snow. That's what we're talking about for this edition. You can notice this map over here. Boy, we really melted a lot of snow away because of that late January thaw, early February thaw that moved in across the country. But things are beginning to change, and this map's going to change a little bit as we go for the days ahead. So let's talk about what we need to know for this edition, or what you need to know for this edition. All right, the first thing we're going to look at is we're going to look at the latest European model, the 12Z run here on February the 7th. We'll see where that storm track is lining up, and I'll show you where we may see some snow in some areas, maybe a little further south than what you typically see. We'll talk about how much snow. We'll take a look at the latest projections on that as well. And then finally, we'll look at the climate outlook. Got the new updated version here for you. And it is looking colder for the second half of the month of February, but maybe limited as far as storm chances for additional snow later in the month. So we'll wrap it up with that. All right, plenty to dive into. Let's first go ahead and take a look at that latest model data. So we're going to begin our look at this data here starting on Thursday morning, and we're going to take you right into the end of next week as we look at where the precipitation is expecting to fall here. Let me go and get out of the way, as what we're seeing right now is you've got three little systems we're kind of watching. This is the first one here that's going to be bringing the initial change in the weather patterns. We're going to start buckling this big trough here, and we're going to break down this big ridge. That's what's been riding the very warm and mild temperatures across the east. And then you got another little disturbance here, and then another one back up here. And it's these three little systems that are going to run concurrently that's going to bring some wet weather across the southeast, and is also going to bring the chance of some snow. So let's go ahead and step you through this as we go into this upcoming weekend. You notice that low up near Minnesota moving up into Canada, and this next little storm system dropping some snows across the Intermountain. Intermountain will be picking some pretty decent snows here over the next couple of days. And then we see things begin to progress as we head into the weekend, as this next little piece of energy back out here near the Four Corners out through Colorado and New Mexico, it's going to kick out here into the plains. We're already seeing as those other little systems went on by, we're tapping some of this cold air starting to come on that by as we start to beat back that mild air that's been kind of stuck across a big chunk of the country here for a little while. Noticing the rains across the southeast, but watch the snow starting to come out through the Texas Panhandle and over toward Oklahoma. So you're looking at the snows breaking out through here as we go into Saturday night and into Sunday morning. So the snows start to pick up there in pretty good intensity across Oklahoma into southern portions of Kansas. And of course, where this low tracks, this is very critical, where that low tracks and how much cold air is in that path will decide how much snow will fall. So this is still a few days out. We'll watch this very closely. Watch the low kick on out, maybe some rain, a few thunderstorms across the southeast. Not expecting severe just yet. Maybe marginal heading into early next week, Sunday and Monday, but the snows on the northern periphery of this will move into the northeast where there's some cold air in place. You've seen the snows dragging up through Indiana and Ohio, and you're breaking out there across areas of New York as well, going in throughout the day on Monday, going into the 12th of the month. So this goes forward, and the snows really pick up across upstate New York and in through New England, and you get that wraparound snow a little bit through the Appalachians as that cold air really dives in back behind this area of low pressure. As we go into early next week, this is going into Monday and into Tuesday, going into the 13th. And then that low really gets cranking, really gets very strong as it exits the eastern seaboard. Some pretty heavy snows there across areas of Maine. So some very torrential and some very heavy snow amounts possible there across Maine as this begins to exit off the eastern seaboard. And then things begin to dry out a bit. Looks like going into Valentine's Day, if you want an early preview, most of the nation looking pretty quiet. It will be noticeably colder here across the Midwest and again across the Northeast. A little bit of rain out here on the West Coast, and some snows for the intermountain areas of Idaho and into Montana. as we go into Valentine's Day. And the rest of the 10-day period here, as we look at this, we do have a little Alberta Clipper system here, dumping some snows here across areas of the Great Lakes as we go throughout the day on Thursday. That's on the 15th, and that'll race across the Great Lakes and into areas of Pennsylvania and into New York. And then the cold air really starting to settle down. Now, I want to watch this very closely on the European model, as we've got some pretty cold air setting up here across here. You see the blue here. This is the freezing line at about 5,000 feet. So you got some cold air settling up in here, and then you got this moisture down here. This is the end of the 10-day run, and we'll see if this begins to interact with this. Is this going to bring in? Is this going to bring in some bump into that cold air and bring some additional snows beyond the 10-day? That's what I'll be watching beyond this upcoming system, and for this upcoming weekend is maybe going into the following weekend, maybe another potential snow event. But of course, that is 10 days out. All right, let's go ahead and switch over to the snow totals. That's what everybody wants to see. So let's go ahead and take a look at the snow totals and see where that's going to line up here. So we're going to focus in here on areas of the south, really, as we come into the Intermountain region. Well, let me go and pull out first. We'll go and start out here first, because watch the Intermountain region. We're really going to pick up some snows there going in here first. We got a couple of those little disturbances, especially across the four corners of Utah, Colorado, and areas of Arizona and New Mexico. Getting some decent snows here, especially across the mountainous areas. And if you remember there, when I showed you the snow earlier, those areas are lacking a little bit. So they're getting some needed snows in those areas there. And then as we go into this upcoming weekend, watch what happens as we go from Saturday and into Sunday. Now we go and zoom in here. Watch this very closely. As the snows start to break out Saturday night and into Sunday morning going into the 11th, you're seeing the snows picking up here across areas of Texas and in through Oklahoma. As we go in throughout the day on Sunday. And of course, this is Super Bowl Sunday, and it really picks up across central areas of Oklahoma City, maybe 6+ inches of snow there, looking at that on Sunday. And this is going to continue to move up into areas of Arkansas, southern Missouri, getting near St. Louis as well. And that's going to track up into southern Indiana and into southern Illinois, and then kind of stretching up through Ohio, and then eventually getting in the Northeast. So you're seeing that track, low pressure track, is going to be kind of going up this way. So try that again here a little bit. There we go. Kind of moving up that way. And then on the northern periphery of that, that's where that snow will fall in that band right there. Now, any changes in that track could make a big difference there. So let me go ahead and zoom back out here, and we'll continue to watch this thing as it breaks out into the northeast. Notice that, again, those purple areas, that's 6+ inches of snow, and a really heavy snow across the coastal areas of Maine as that storm system really blows up and kind of moves on out there. And so that is going to be the track with that snow starting this weekend and then going in early next week. So that corridor right through here is where we're looking at that heavier snow amounts in that area, especially the purple areas that you see. We'll go and highlight some of these areas in here. You notice that here along the coastal areas, about 15 inches of snow right there, just lying along the coast. Very heavy snows in there, but nice little 6-7 inch snow path there across areas of New York into Vermont, New Hampshire, and lesser amounts, not looking too bad. 3 or 4 inches here across areas of southern Illinois, into Indiana, parts of Ohio, which has been kind of snow-starved this year, but heavier snow amounts here across areas of southern Missouri and into areas of northern Arkansas there. You got a little bit of the Ozarks in there, a little bit of lift there to help squeeze a little bit of that snow out there. And this area across central areas of Oklahoma, very impressive, 10, 12 inches of snow. I don't think we'll get quite that much. You're going to get some snow melt in there, obviously. But again, you're looking at that snow path right through there, and this will continue right through the end of the month. We're going to take this model data straight out to the end here. As you can see, another little bit of snow there going up into the northeast. So that is what we're going to be seeing there. And then we'll watch that next system down here beyond the 10-day. Is that going to run into that cold air and bring additional snows into the following weekend? So we'll watch that very, very closely as we progress through the month of February. Now, we talked about where we're seeing the precipitation. We talked about where the snow is. Let's go and take a look at the latest climate outlook and show you where the below normal temperatures will be setting up across the country. So we're looking at the latest and greatest here from the Climate Prediction Center as we take a look at the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, and seeing below normal temperatures coming back in. Still looking at above normal here toward the north just briefly for a few more days, but that's going to be coming to an end because we do have some Arctic air that's going to kind of soothe down in, at least make temperatures more seasonable for where they're supposed to be across that area. But clouds and rainfall will keep the temperatures down here across the south, and obviously with the active weather here out toward the west, especially coming into this upcoming weekend, they'll stay below normal as well. And that trend will continue in here as we go into days 8 through the 14th. So we're looking at from about February the 14th, Valentine's Day, through the 20th, still looking at a big part of the country, really looking below normal temperatures or near normal for the high plains and up across Minnesota and Wisconsin. The only place seeing above normal will be right here along the west coast. But otherwise, looks like temperatures will be running below average as we enter into the second half of the month of February. Now, with the colder temperatures, we are going to see not as much precipitation chances there. You're seeing that really drop off here, especially across the east. You're seeing it there right here through here and out toward the west. Again, they do need a break from the moisture out here on the west coast, especially California. They've gotten inundated with a lot of that heavy rain that they were dealing with that atmospheric river, but it's only going to be a temporary reprieve because it looks like it turns active once again as we go later into the month. As you can see here, especially Southern California, down through areas of New Mexico and Texas. So this area right through here is looking definitely wetter than normal, but still below normal on the precipitation here for the eastern third of the country, especially across the Ohio River Valley into the northeast and parts of the southeast as we go from the 14th through the 20th. So we got that cold air coming down. And the only thing is for snow lovers, maybe just a lack of precipitation. I'm still looking at one snow event we're tracking, which I just showed you, but there may be another one beyond the end of this range here, going from days 10 through 14 or beyond. That might change a little bit. Just looking at the latest European data, this map here especially has the potential to change. We'll see how that works out as we go deeper into the month. Now, I always like to look at the North Atlantic Oscillation. Again, this is that tool that kind of shows us the position of the jet stream. We're definitely kind of in a neutral or slightly below neutral phase here. So you see all those red squiggly lines, those are the forecasts. As we get further out into time though, boy, this thing really diverges big time. I mean, in a very big way. You see it right up here and right down here. We're talking about 1.5 degrees above, 1.5 degrees below. When it's in a positive phase, like it was back in here through a lot of January, that's when temperatures were well above normal. And then obviously when it's below, you see this down here, that's when we have that very cold Arctic air across the country, as well as a very active storm track. So it's kind of neutral there. And right now, the models are diverging big time. So expect changes in the long-range forecasting for the rest of the month. I think we're pretty locked in here on the 7 to 10 day that we're going to have some cold air coming in. But where it goes beyond that for the rest of the month is still a little bit of a question mark. So I'll be watching that very closely as we go through the rest of the month of February. Now, one thing is for certain, we're going to see some big changes on this map here, the snow depth map, which melted a lot of snow away. We are going to add some snow to it, and for you snow lovers wanting to get the last grasp of winter, or gasp of winter, I should say, we are going to get some snow on this map, especially areas across the Four Corners, areas of the plains, areas in the Northeast. We'll get some additional snows in here. And I think the opportunity for additional snow will be there later in the month. It's just a question of will it stay dry, or will we get some of the more subtropical moisture to kind of get a little more active and run into some of that cold air. Stay tuned. We got more coming your way, that's for sure. All right, hey, again, if you like what you saw with this edition, please subscribe. I really want to get this channel growing in the right direction, and I need your help. You can make it happen. So just hit that subscribe button and leave me a comment down below. Give me some feedback. I'd like to hear from you. Tell me what you'd like to see added to this forecast, and I get you updated here as we go finish up the rest of winter. And of course, we'll be heading towards severe weather season as we get closer and closer toward spring. All right, that's your latest edition for now. You guys take it easy. We'll see you on the next update. Until then, be good and stay safe out there. Bye-bye for now.